Welcome back. Here we go. Part 2. Right into it.
And then the next day I remember I woke up because I heard like a firecracker noise. And I saw like a little sparkler or something under the door. And then it like kind of went out. And then it's all like, I don't know, I was still half asleep and still pretty like, I don't know, tipsy I'd say. And then I just didn't really know what was happening. And then I remember either called me or I called. And she said that she thought she saw someone in like wearing all black. And I said, well, Santa wasn't wearing all black. Maybe she just like ran by or something. And then she said, well, I thought he had like a ski mask on. And then I was like, and then I just didn't really know what to think of that. I thought maybe she was like just seeing stuff because me and her got scared a lot from stuff like that. And, or like maybe one of Ethan's frat bros was like just playing around or something. And then I told her to come down to my room when she was scared because it's better than being alone. So then she ran down to my room. And I tried to call them. None of them were answering, so I thought they would just like were asleep or something because I've called them before late at night when I'm scared and they usually don't answer. And then we fell asleep. I woke up early.
So before we keep going there, you said you called them.
Yes.
Can you look up to see exactly what times all those phone calls came in?
Yes.
This is right after you see the sparkler?
That called you?
Pretty much, yeah. 4:19 and 4:20.
You called her or she called you?
I don't remember.
It should show on your phone line.
I don't know what that means.
Look. So she called. So you called her at 4:19, and it was a 33-second or 23-second call, and then she called you at 4:20, and it was 41 seconds.
Okay.
So you called her first,
and then she called you back. Okay.
And then I called Xana.
Wait a second. When you called her at 4:19, what did you say to her?
I said, did you hear that? Like, because I thought, like, the sparkler or whatever. And she said, I think she said yes. And I said, what was it? And then she didn't know.
Did you guys hang up then?
I don't remember. Apparently got hung up.
And then she called you right
she
back.
called me again, I
And
guess.
then during that conversation,
I don't really
Was that
remember.
when she
I think
talked
that's
about-
when she talked about the guy.
seeing someone in the house and that?
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. We also had texts.
Is that when she told you that she saw someone dressed in black?
I think, or from the text, I don't really remember.
When did you, can you look at your text then to see if she texted you that information? To see if it was before that call?
Around 4:22, so it was after the call.
You want to
I do that. Thank you.
So they just passed Bethany's phone.
So that was in a text communication.
Yeah.
That she said thought she saw someone.
I don't remember if it was both or one or the other.
it's definitely in there that she
Yeah,
talks
it's in
about black
Could have
and
been
skin.
both, so I just don't remember that. It was all like I was half asleep still,
Well, I think it has to be a little bit of both because it first comes in, no one is answering, and this is from her. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. You then respond, yeah, dude, what the fuck? Xana was wearing all black, so obviously you'd already talked about somebody being in black prior to
Yeah,
that.
so maybe it was during the call.
Then she's freaking out. No, it's like ski mask almost.
So some of that data came from a
I
call.
think while she was texting me, he left.
Who's he?
Or the guy, I'm guessing the guy, because she said she thought it was a guy.
Suspect.
And yeah, because she like saw they made like eye contact as he was leaving, and that's I think when she saw the mask and everything.
And when she didn't tell that, she didn't tell later though, right?
Yeah,
Where did she see him at, and where was she at when
she said. I believe this is what she said to me. It sounded like he was leaving through the back door, through the kitchen, as when she saw him. Yeah,
So
And where would
do
she
you think he saw her?
from her room. She said they made eye contact. I'm almost positive.
Did she say anything about being able to identify the race, or
She said he was white.
she could tell that?
You want pictures of that?
We have it. We have it. We should have it.
So she told you that she was able to tell with the mask,
Take a picture of me.
with the mask that it was a white person.
Yes, because she said he had a big nose. I just remember her saying that to me.
She said that he had a big nose.
Yeah.
And then she ran down.
Yeah. I think he was like.
Yeah, because you made some comment about, she's making a comment that her phone's about to die. And then you told her to run down to you. And then that's when she came back down shortly after that, from what I can tell.
And what did she say when she got there?
I don't really remember. Just that she was scared and we didn't really know what was happening.
Did you cover this with her initially, this section?
With her?
Yes.
Yeah, I've covered quite a bit of this. This is still tracking with what she's told me.
Okay. Because
No, you didn't.
did she tell you about whether this person had anything
Like in his hand.
in his hand?
She said it looked like a vacuum. So I didn't know what that meant. I thought she was just like seeing stuff because she was drunk still.
Did she tell you the shape of what she saw?
She said it looked like a small vacuum that he was holding. So I was confused. I was like, I thought she was like imagining something.
I'm gonna grab some notes here.
We have the previous interview. They didn't talk about.
Also, she said like triangle thing, like wrapped around like a small vacuum. It was what she was trying to explain was really confusing.
This is what she's trying to explain
Yeah,
to
what she
you.
forgot. So confused.
When did she try to explain that though?
So just a quick question about the messages. Like you tell her to run down there, and then she says, "I'm screwed though."
Scared.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's what she meant. Well, I'm guessing that's what she
I
meant.
picked up on
Yeah.
that's what I was kind of trapped to, is that she was scared right now.
And then
you didn't call 911. You didn't
no.
reach out to
Well,
anybody else
I
outside the
thought
house.
she was like imagining something. I didn't.
Has she ever imagined something like this before, or?
Well, no, but she was still half asleep and still drunkish. So I was like,
Okay.
maybe it was just some kid like coming in.
Okay.
I don't know.
So you guys are both still very unclear.
Yeah.
You kind of foggy head
Yeah.
a little bit, both of you, because you're both awake, just waking up,
Mhm.
both still intoxicated.
Did you guys go and explore any?
No, we were too scared to leave because just in case someone would like
Did
kick
she,
in.
besides seeing the guy, did she say she saw anything else at all?
She
That's
said
what I
there was
told
something
me.
around his waist, and it was like a vacuum.
Something like
Around
that.
his
Yeah. I
waist
don't
or
know.
his
It
hand?
was so confusing. She was trying to explain it. I just was not getting it. And then, do you want to know what time I called the others?
In just a minute. I'm gonna.
Some segment in there, did you ever hear, either before or after the firework, the sparkler or whatever woke you, did you ever hear Murphy?
Oh yeah, I heard Murphy bark a little, and then I heard like the pong table that was in our family room. Like it's just like a table.
Mhm.
It was in our family
Yeah.
room, kind of moved, but I thought like Ethan, he's a pretty big guy, so I thought he like
And that
was drunk and just hit it. But I don't know what time.
Was that before or after he heard
It was all kind of all at once. I
all
feel
at
like.
once?
Yeah. But I don't know what time Ethan or Xander got home, so I was just guessing.
But shortly right after you heard Murphy bark, the beer pong table get bumped,
Yeah.
and you heard the firecracker sparkler.
Yeah. It was all
Was that
kind of
also
jumbled.
kind of when? That's when.
And I
Did
think
you
I
pick
heard
up and
Kaylee
call?
playing music too,
Okay.
dancing with Murphy.
Whoa!
Also said that she heard music and Kaylee and Murphy dancing.
Okay. But you don't know what time that would have been.
I'm guessing around 4 in the morning.
Okay.
So right before you guys start to communicate.
No, 20 minutes, not right before.
Right after you heard Murphy bark, the pong table, the sparkler, that's when you called.
Yes. I think it might have been right after, maybe, I don't know. It's all blurry.
Right.
From you referenced earlier time 2:02 in the morning.
Mhm.
From 2:02 to 4:19, did you get any missed calls
Oh,
from
yes.
any of your other roommates?
Maddie called me at 2:53, but I don't know why. I missed it.
At 2:53.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to pin down is a time frame where other people in the house are still active, still alive, still talking, still communicating. So it's important for you. We're trying to narrow that window, right? So if somebody's communicating with you, trying to communicate, texting, snapping, anytime after 2 to that 4 o'clock window, he really needs to know that.
Do you track your sleep at all?
So at 2:19, we know Maddie's trying to reach.
2:53. She called.
2:53, Maddie's trying to reach you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Could that have also?
guessing it's because she lost Murphy, and I
And
just
that's
missed the
what I
call.
was wondering, if maybe that was the same time period.
Because you were already asleep when she
Yeah.
knocked on the door.
No, I was watching the show when she knocked on the door, so I'm guessing.
That could have been right about that same
Yeah.
time period.
Well, then why didn't she answer it?
Yeah, that's all.
Is it a missed call or is it an answered phone call? Because I have it as a 2-minute phone call.
Did you describe any color with this sparkler or this sound that you heard out of your door?
It just looked like a little flame sparkler type thing.
So white or red,
It was like orange-ish.
orange color.
That's what I remember.
And do you know what time it came to your room? Is there anything in it that can tell you that?
Around 4:25.
That was the last message where you told her to run down.
Yeah. And then I called Xana at 4:21.
So before you go.
Yes. And then I called Maddie at 4:22.
So right after you talked to
Yeah.
you called.
And then I called Ethan at 4:22.
And no answers, right?
Yeah.
Voicemail?
Did you hear the phones ringing from where you were?
Why didn't she call?
I didn't hear a scream or didn't hear anything.
FaceTime or just regular phone call?
Just regular phone call. And then I accidentally FaceTimed Kaylee at 4:30, but then I called her again at 4:31.
Never at that time.
I believe so, something like that. And then, I also called Maddie again twice at 4:29 and then 4:30.
And all of these, no responses or anything?
Yeah, but they never usually answer my phone calls that late at night, so I thought they were asleep.
Okay. So that would be normal.
They were up to date normally. Call answer.
Yes.
Do you have any idea in your
Except
house?
sometimes Xana doesn't answer because she.
Do you have any idea, thinking a little bit more based off of what you know is in your house, of what that firecracker sound and the sparkler could have been?
I have no idea. I have no idea where it came from or like what it could have been.
Well, in addition to you told him that you heard the pong table slide on the floor like someone had bumped into it.
Mhm.
Did you hear
Or like
anything?
cups fall or something.
You heard what?
Either cups fall off of it or like the table moved to the side.
Is that like right above your room?
Do you remember what position the beer pong table was in before you went to bed?
Either it's just like that. It's great.
Coming from,
The kitchen. It's like right in front of it.
so not off to the side a little bit or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Unless someone moved it to get past it or something.
Was it normally in that same position?
Yeah.
So if I were to walk from your kitchen in Dylan's area of the house, take the step up, and I walk into the living room area, it's going to literally be right in front of me. So kind of centered.
Pretty much, or like a little to the side of the door. Yeah. So people can get through. But
To the right or the left.
the like,
So it'd be more pushed to the right.
there'd be more push to the left, like towards the wall.
Okay, it's where that little nightstand is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nightstand.
Because it wasn't straight when we found it. It was
What?
kind of crooked a little bit, so what you're saying makes sense to me now.
So
What?
I'm not familiar with the house. So your room is on the bottom floor. So is there a set of steps, half set of steps?
There's a full set of steps.
So like 12 steps ish.
Ooh, that's apple.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. And then when you get to the bottom of the steps, where's your room?
Whoa.
There's one room straight across, but no one lives in there. There's a bathroom right next to it. And then if you go down a little hallway, it's my room.
So you have something, sir?
Go ahead.
So like for something to be like reflecting underneath your door, you would have to basically have something down in that kind of hallway.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. L or something. I don't know what it was.
Did you have anything up on that rail at the top? That led?
People usually put cups up there, but it wasn't a cup or like a carry.
So if I were to go down the steps from the living room to yours, there's that little rail right there.
Mhm.
Do you remember having anything like a candle on there? Was there anything else on there?
Mm-hmm.
The only other
The
thing
only thing that I could think of that anyone would put up there is cans or cups.
Do you remember if there was a stain or something that got spilt on the stairs the night before?
The night of the formal, there was Coke or something spilled on the stairs.
Like towards the bottom, the
Towards the
middle, or
top.
towards the top? Okay.
Is what I remember.
When you went to bed, do you remember, were there like a lot of cans or anything like that on the floor down at the landing next to the front door?
There was a box, I believe my height is, and then like a backpack.
Do you remember any loose cans that you,
People put loose cans there all the time. I don't know.
okay. Do you remember stepping on it or stepping around it when you went to bed?
Not really.
Were there quite a bit of lights still left on in the house?
Yes, my hallway light was left on. I believe most of the other lights were left on, but I don't know. I don't know if they turned it off when I went to bed or anything.
When am I going to start talking about Ethan and Xana coming home? Nobody cares.
You had told me that you had walked home. When you walked home by yourself, you got home at 1:21 a.m.
Around that time, that's just when I had that picture.
How did you tie that?
Just because that's when I had that picture. Like me, like,
Okay, so right here, something that's new. This guy that's from the Nevada police, whatever, he's saying you told me. So there's gotta Bethany was interviewed separately with this guy. So there's gotta be a report on that.
So it's before 121 when you got home. Yeah.
So when you get home, Sorry, Kaylee and Maddie were home, or they came home after you were home.
They came home after they were home.
So people were watching the diaries
Mhm.
at 121. You took the picture with them.
Mhm.
So you got home about 1 o'clock. Where were you coming from again? Okay.
Mhm.
And how far is that?
2 to 3 minute walk.
Okay.
Not that far.
And on that walk home, do you remember seeing anything? Anybody? Cars?
There's like a car that drove past me, maybe 1 or 2, but cars drive past there all the time.
Okay.
I don't know.
So nobody else walking? You didn't need anybody?
Mhm.
And then which door did you come in?
That's not good.
And that's not, is that on the same level as your room? Or is
Yes.
that, okay.
Did you walk all the way to King, then around to Queen, or did you take the cutoff?
Just cut off.
Okay. Were there still quite a few parties in the area?
I was still doing stuff, and I don't know, that's all it really seemed like.
Was there a lot of other foot traffic still?
No one really, I don't think, was out when I was walking, but
Was it cold?
yes. Yes. I believe so.
I believe so. Yes or no?
That whole day, so like, I don't know. Looked weird.
Do you recall whether told you that this person she saw, whether he had the shape, if there was a shape of something she saw in his hands, whether it had a shape to it?
Well, she just told me that she thought it was a mini vacuum. So,
She didn't just try to say it was circular, it was round, it was a triangle.
she said like something wrapped around or something, and then a mini vacuum.
Just something wrapped around the waist,
I don't know, yeah.
and then holding something else in his hand.
Like she said it was like a mini vacuum. I don't know what that would be compared to.
So what happened? So after you tried calling everybody, no one answered. Did you guys just go to sleep, or did you do anything else?
I fell back asleep because I was still out of it, and I don't know, she did right away, and then I woke up again earlier that morning.
About what time?
Do you have the times?
You have some touch from your phone, right?
I called my dad at 7:30, then he didn't answer, and I fell back asleep.
What did you call it for?
My tooth hurt really bad. It's like inflamed, and he's a dentist, so I was just wondering what it was.
That was around 7:30.
7:30, yeah.
Okay.
And then he didn't answer, and I just fell back asleep. And then I called him back at 8. He also didn't answer. And so then I called my house at 8:01. And they didn't answer. And then I called my mom at 8:02. And she finally answered.
And was still in the room?
Yes.
Was she?
I can't remember if she was up or not. I think she was kind of up. And then I called my mom and asked her to put my dad on the phone, and then she said he'd call me back. And then he called me back at 8:09. And then I took Advil for my tooth. And then,
Did you have it there?
yeah.
Okay.
And then I told her about my tooth because she was up. And then I fell back asleep, and I don't know if she went back to bed. Because none of them would have been up that early anyway, so.
Okay.
And then
So you were back to sleep.
I fell back asleep. I don't know if she did. And then I woke up again and noticed that none of them were up still.
How did you notice that?
Santa's Snapchat location wasn't on yet. And she usually is at that point by the time I woke up.
Which was? Which time was that?
I want to say 11:30ish, maybe 11.
Sometime between 11 and 11:30.
Yeah.
Was Dylan still in the room?
Yes. And then we were kind of freaking out because we were like, well, they would have been up by now. And so then I called my friend and told her that we were like scared and didn't know what was happening. And so she offered to come get us. And then we called because we knew that was with her and would come over and like help look around the house.
And that's when.
Yes.
Did you make any attempts to call roommates that morning? That was you woke
No,
up?
because I knew I would either hear them walking maybe upstairs or Xana would have been up.
From the snatch location.
You were afraid. Why?
Because they weren't answering and no one was walking and there's like Xana's location was up, so I was like, something's not right. So then we got scared and called it. And then she sent over and then she followed with shortly after he came over.
So when they come over, you know what time they arrive?
Unreal.
We're no better because she called it.
And when they came in the house, how did they enter?
Just came in. He knows the code, so he came in.
And then where did he go?
And then we came out and we went up the stairs. And then he said, you guys need to get out and call 911.
So was he ahead of you?
Yes.
When you came out of your room, what did you see?
Nothing. Really.
Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing
Is this
different.
carpet floor,
No,
tile,
hardwood.
hardwood,
No,
laminate, laminate?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing on
Some
the floor?
kind of tile.
You didn't see anything broken on the floor or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing misplaced.
Not really, no.
How far up the stairs did you get?
Pretty much the top.
Okay. Where was, how far ahead of was compared to you?
He was like on the other side of the railing.
So he had already turned around the railing?
Yeah.
Where was he heading?
Xana's room.
So he was walking
Like we
towards
saw
that.
her into her room.
Okay. Did you see it into her room at that point in time?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was your relation to?
I believe she's ahead of me.
So she's ahead of you, so she's also ahead.
Yeah.
So you guys are now at the top of the stairs.
Mm.
You, as you're looking past, what do you see?
Just sitting on the
What's that? You can see Xana on the floor. Okay. Could you see,
Was the door fully open, her bedroom door?
or partially open?
half and half. More than partially, but not all the way.
Okay. Is that normal? Does she normally leave her door open or does she close her door?
I think she normally closes it, but I don't think she closes it. But I don't know when she's drunk. She usually wakes up before I do.
When you went to bed that night, do you remember if that door was open or closed? Because up to this point, we still don't know when Ethan and Xana came home, right?
Mhm.
You don't know if they were home when you already got
Closed, I believe. Door open. It might have been open.
Did you use the
there.
bathroom?
Did you ever use the bathroom next to that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Did you use it that night?
Not I'm aware.
When did you get
When
dressed?
you got home that night, do you know whether they were in that room already, or do you know when they came home?
I have no idea when they came home or if they were in the room. I'm guessing if they were in the room, Xana would have came out and said hi and hung out with us.
See your messages with Tony.
And where's Murphy when you wake up?
I have no idea.
You didn't see him when you went up the stairs. Do
Mm-mm.
you know where he is now?
You didn't hear Murphy once you guys started walking around, you didn't hear him though?
No, because like right away, said you guys need to get out and call 911 right now.
Are you the one who made the 911 call?
Yes, but I couldn't really talk, so then she took the phone and finished talking for me.
Because I've listened to the 911 call and it was kind of jumbled around because the phone got cut short a little bit. But so obviously, did you have any clue at that point in time when you called 911 what was going on?
I just knew something was wrong.
Because you could see Xana on the floor. Was that? Have you ever seen her in that position before? Has she ever passed out on the floor before?
Not this year, but I believe she used to when she used to get like, super drunk, but she hasn't really.
Okay. And from that distance, did you just see her or could you see?
I just saw her and then I left. Yeah.
So when you called 911, where were you at?
outside.
So when that you need to go, you actually turned around and left, or did you stay there for a second?
We all like walked down the stairs and then he said, "You guys need to call 911."
So did he walk you down the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he went back up, I think, to check it out.
And you were still downstairs? At the landing or just on the outside?
On the outside.
But he went back up.
Yeah, to like make sure there wasn't anyone still there or something like that.
Okay. So you're calling 911.
Look at Blaker, man.
You couldn't talk, so then you passed the phone to.
Blaker is preventing these dudes from inquiring on the fuckerage. Unbelievable, man. These guys cannot believe what they are hearing. These Nevada guys cannot believe what they are hearing. And Blaker, he is pushing like, yeah, no, keep on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know they were asking you all kinds of questions. Did you guys?
No, I passed the phone to.
Yeah, but she didn't know what was going on because originally you had called and said what?
I believe that someone was unconscious on the floor.
Okay. I think you also mentioned being out drinking the night before or anything like that.
I did.
Okay, so you call us or dispatch. You tell them that someone was unconscious on the floor. Pass the phone around and gives the phone back to you.
No, what they said is that they couldn't wake somebody up.
I can't remember.
At one point, it sounded to me like you went back upstairs.
I believe, and maybe in tried to went over to Santa to try to wake her up and see if she was.
But you never went up there.
Mm-mm.
Did you stay on the phone at that point then with our dispatch?
I don't know if it was me. It could have been someone else.
It wasn't.
Because it sounded like someone on the phone was going to go see if they were breathing or not.
It might have been.
Okay. But that wasn't you.
I didn't go back inside.
So after you saw Zayna on the floor, you go downstairs and call. You never went back upstairs. You never went into the room. Okay. But you saw go back in. Went in.
I think she went in, and I think I went in.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Okay. Did it ever be on the phone? Was she ever on the phone?
I don't think so.
Were you still standing outside when our first officer showed up?
Yes, but I was super scared, so I walked over to, where the white stairs are. I walked over there.
Okay.
Boom.
Did you mention anything or ask anyone about a...
She knows that she would not be seen on body cam. Also, she knows that she was asked this by Mitch Nunes when he walked back over. He's like, "Were you over here when I came here?" Dude, we see the cop car pull up. Did she say that she was? Over basically by where the stairs go to the whites. She's not, there's nobody there. Go check it out. I've literally I want to believe Dylan and Bethany so bad. I want to believe them so bad. And every time I'm like, okay, let me go find this. And then I can just be like, boom, look. Like, I want to argue for them. I want to have their backs. And when I go and get something, or when they say something, I go and I get the, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You guys, you would think that she's being asked questions. And that this event literally happened 6 months ago. And she has a piece of paper there, I'm telling you, and she's already wrote down all these times. And now I'm going to go to the Nevada State Police, because how they made it seem is that the Nevada State Police had never been contacted prior to this interview. So on the 11/13, whatever happened on that day, and then this is like the next one. No, it ain't. It is not by any stretch. No. God. Jeez. No.
No, but I remember someone asking.
Do you remember who that was?
I think it was.
Okay. All right. So she had your phone.
When into the house after they were called. Before, everyone was walking, there was that incident with the door being open, everyone grabbed the golf club and was walking through the house. Did anybody grab anything this time and walk through the house?
Grabbed a knife.
How would you know that?
Yeah, you mentioned that to us. But you didn't show up with a knife?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what kind of kitchen knives did you have in the house?
Just some from like IKEA and then some other ones.
Remember what color they are?
There was like a blue, a gray, green. That's all I can remember.
Okay. Are they normal kitchen knives, steak knives? Do you remember what they are?
Just cooking.
Just
And where do you keep them?
what?
Just in a drawer with all the silverware.
And so if I walk into your kitchen, kind of located, because if I walk in, fridge is on my right, dishwasher's right in front of me, the stove's on the left, and the sink is kind of in the corner a little bit, right next to the stove.
It's like in between the microwave and the sink. It's like in like a drawer.
Okay. I think I remember what you're talking about.
So did he grab a knife from there, or did he bring it to
He
the house?
grabbed it from there.
And you didn't see him do this, though, right?
No, but I think I remember the color and it was gray, but I remember he said he was going to go get something.
Okay. And that's as he was walking back upstairs, he said he's going to go get something? Or prior to you guys even going upstairs?
What?
I can't remember.
Every time she says I can't remember, she was refusing to answer. Listen, you guys, I have to speak on this.
Was this knife, or is this a set that someone...
Okay. I've been paying attention and going through all the different things of when Bethany is when she's saying I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember. She has a lawyer. And what your lawyer will tell you is I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember. If you don't remember, you don't remember. The lawyer's going to tell you to listen to the question that's being asked of you and answer only the question that's being asked of you. And if you don't know something, you don't know something. So, but the I don't remember, it means at some point you had knowledge. What do you mean you don't remember? Do you not remember because, like, I don't remember? That's different than saying I don't know. I don't remember is a different answer than I don't know. It's very different. I have no personal knowledge of that. Or I don't remember. Well, what don't you remember? You don't remember, like, what about it? I don't remember all the little details. I was there and we called them over. You know what I mean? Like, what don't you remember? Do you remember? Did you take a bath? Did you take a shower that day? When did you get dressed? What did you go out in? Okay, so then you got in your pajamas, right? So when you woke up, the clothes that you were interviewed in. Like, ask stuff like that. Get her to talk about stuff like that and see how she responds. Because that's detail too. Just like asking that question, did Kaylee change? You know, was Kaylee changed? Was Maddie changed? When you saw Maddie, was she changed? Bizarre.
Bought, or were there individual knives?
Well, this one was a set, but there was also individual ones.
If she never went back into the house, how does she know what he grabbed?
Maybe 5.
If they were bought at IKEA, who bought them?
I did.
So you could recognize the setting.
Did you buy that here before you moved out?
Mhm.
Okay. Permission will have it after that.
So can we go back to when you're going up the stairs and in front of you, right? You said you saw Dan on the floor in her room, door partially open. How do you know it was Dan?
sweatshirt.
Is that a sweatshirt that she was wearing earlier today?
No.
Did you physically see her features or just match the room and it matched her kind of
Well, I
shape?
saw her, I didn't see her face or anything, but I saw like her legs.
Okay. Did you see anything else in the room?
Other than like her clothes and stuff on the floor, but that's how it was before.
Okay.
It was messy.
Nothing else on the floor?
She wasn't wearing black, but all red dried would look dark.
Do you know for sure who came into the house and did that?
Okay.
Whatever happened to your friends? Do you have an idea of who may have come in and done that?
What? What's
Is there
the
theories that people are talking about?
What's the theories?
Just, I don't know his last name.
Jack Showalter?
About him earlier?
Yeah.
Really? What part are we talking about?
The grub shop guy.
And why are people saying that he did it?
Just because he's known for like having anger issues or whatever.
Is that the
and,
one that you told us about that?
yeah, and he lives at the Browns by himself.
So how,
The
what issue would he have with any of those four? Have you ever heard of him having a problem with any of them? Have you ever heard of him having like an infatuation or anything like that?
So when did you first hear about the theory?
Not yesterday, the day before.
the 14th, Monday.
Just kind of everyone was saying, like, having all different things and saying that probably.
Are they basing that off of because of some of the information they know about him and the fact that he was at the grub truck?
Mm-hmm.
And is that your recollection of why they're basing it?
Mm-hmm.
Have any of them ever said anything or any of these?
Why don't you ask how does she know that he lives alone? And when she's saying the Browns, why don't you say Browns? What do you mean? That means AKA the brown brick building, the 500 Queen. So here we learn something new is that Bethany is using a terminology that we've never heard before. The Browns. That's Queen Road Apartments. The brick is brown. Okay. That she thinks is brown. Whatever. But how does she know that he lives alone if she doesn't know him? I would not know if he lived alone. Who would be giving you that information? Why aren't you asking that?
People that have come up with this
I've
theory
never heard of him.
say that they have ever seen an issue between any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we covered it, but was he ever at your house for a party?
Not that I know of, no.
Not that you recall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it possible he could have been there?
I don't think so. I don't really think any of us were friends with him.
And you said at that point too, he was no longer really hanging out with any of them either. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And how old is he? Is he like still in college?
I'm guessing, but I have no idea.
There you go.
Where the Browns he lives.
Mm-hmm.
You just know he lives there by himself.
That's just what someone said, yeah.
There you go.
Have you seen this guy around school or?
I personally have not.
So you wouldn't know what kind of car he drives or anything like that.
Any other theories you've heard?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Just that. Lies.
Hey, since the incident, have you had anyone reach out to you or contact you that in their conversations with you seem different, seem odd?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing concerning to you with anyone who's talking to you right now?
Mm-hmm.
You doing okay?
Have you looked into getting counseling yet?
I think my mom has. Yeah.
Do you know anyone within your group or people who would come to your house that they've now left Moscow?
Most people have left.
Was there anyone that left sooner than everybody else? It seems like they were gone already and out of town before this news really broke out.
Not that I know of, no.
Anybody that you haven't had contact with that normally you would have?
Mm-mm.
Anybody that you're having contact with that
Just to kind of give you an update on where we're going.
Okay.
We still have it.
Edmund still there.
Yeah, they're still in there. As of right now, we still haven't released the house. So I know that was one question. I can't remember if it was your mom asked me when we're going to release the house. So I think they can come get your stuff. We still haven't released it yet. We're still going to have another forensic team come up and go back through the residence. We've also requested the assistance of the FBI. So they're now helping us too as well. So there's a lot of people right now working on this case to try and figure out what happened to it. So at this point, it's going to be very important if you hear anything, if anyone reaches out to you and gives weird details of the incident, because as you've noticed, we haven't released a whole lot of information. And that, so anything that somebody reaches out and starts talking to you about it, that to you it feels like they maybe know more than most people should, please let us know immediately. Because that might be somebody we want to talk to.
This isn't like someone that knew more than we should, but one of our friends, like they were just trying to figure out like what happened.
Okay.
And they were looking at like the photos from the house, and it looked like Kaylee's like lines or something were like pulled down or like not right, and she always had them perfectly closed.
So what do you mean?
Like they were kind of broken.
like on the news, somebody was seeing photos.
Like news
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that could have been us.
No, yeah, just the photo. Like someone said that the lines weren't like.
He's saying
No, we could have been the ones who have disturbed the line.
Oh. Okay.
Because we did go out onto that back balcony.
Okay.
So we actually, you're talking about those lines on the slider?
Mhm.
Yeah, we moved those multiple times.
Oh. Okay.
Because we stepped out on the back balcony wondering if it was a point of entry
Okay.
and stuff like that. So we went out there several different times. Guys were walking all around the back balcony. So that easily could have been us. I don't have anything else. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. If anything comes up, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give your attorney my card as well, so if you don't feel like it, you can always reach out to him and he can ask me questions. We're not trying to leave you in the dark. You're involved in this, but we will try to give you as much info as we can, obviously, okay? All right. Again, thank you. I appreciate you sitting down with me and talking to me. The only last question I have, are you still communicating with? Do you know why she's very hesitant to talk to me right now?
Mm-mm.
Is she struggling pretty bad?
I think so, but she also said she talked to her attorney or something. I think he's making her worry more, and her mom's making her worry more. She said something
Does her mom
that her
do that
mom
quite
is
a bit?
stressing her out and making her worry about like the press and stuff like that.
Okay, and I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I know she seems a little stressed. I talked to her a little bit the other day. Was trying to meet with her yesterday, but we weren't able to make that work. But
One question I have, other than
Wow.
the alcohol that you talked about and Adderall you talked about, is there anyone in the house that you're aware of that takes prescription medication or treats for any therapy, anxiety, mental illness, any of that?
This is how Ann Taylor knew that there was messages trying to contact Dylan and Bethany with Blaker.
And how about any of the other people in the home? Do you know
Not
what?
that I know of.
Do you know if it takes any medications or anything like that?
I don't really talk to them anymore.
Do you know if anyone in the house was selling pills or anything?
And that's all, folks. Ridiculous. All right, so quick recap, super quick. This is what Blaker in this order and what they touched on in this interview. They wanted to know who was actually, spending the night and sleeping at that house, who actually knew the code. And Bethany said 3 people. And then she said, oh, wait, and I have another 3 people. They wanted to know about the spare room. They had found mail in there, and the name was Ashland Couch. Had they ever changed the code? And since moving in, the code was never changed. She explains that last year they had one, but this year they had a new one, but they never changed it from like the time that, from my understanding, of moving in. Ethan had an apartment. His apartment was by the 76 gas station. It was a street over there. The dog never used a leash. Found that bizarre to hear, because then it was something that there was a zapper, and that they would never leave the sliding glass door open for Murphy. They always shut it. And then Kaylee would always keep him in their room if she wasn't home, and the door would be closed. Obviously, we found Murphy. Door was open. Also, if you don't have a leash, she was like, or Blaker asked her, hey, well, is there basically like electric fence? No, she just can press something and it just zaps the dog. Well, where would that be at? Just where's the bowl for the dog to eat food, to drink? Where's the zapper? Where would she leave that at to just grab it and she's going to take the dog out? Then wanted to ask about, so it was about the routines of Murphy. Okay. Never went into the dog bark. Remember the dog barked from 4-7 all for 45 minutes. No mention of that. But again, this is early on in the investigation. Maybe they don't know that. They wanted to know everybody's boyfriend at the time. So who was Anna's boyfriend, who was Maddie's, who was Dylan's, hers, Kaylee's. Also spent time with, wanted to know about the Uber driver. Did he seem like he was acting like he was single and he wasn't? Nope. He drove a gray car. She knew that he had a wife and a baby. Everybody seemed to like him. Everybody used him. And she refers to Kaylee being the one that actually knew the Uber driver. She specifically says Kaylee's name. Then asked about Kaylee seeing, there was boy number 1 and there was boy number 2, which I believe are a Mason and a Mitch. Could be wrong. If you want to throw in the Reeds of the world, go right ahead. Then 19 minutes in to the conversation, we have 2 people that they're going to ask her about, which was Cole was the first person. It was a name that just had popped up. And then they go into the hoodie guy, Showalter. He clarifies that she's a sophomore in school. It didn't come up though, for whatever reason, not to ask why didn't you still live in the house, the sorority house? Why were you living in this house type of thing? He says he knows what goes on around there. He's been doing this for 27 years. Well, then you should know that as a sophomore, you don't live in an off-campus house. You live in a sorority house. And if you are going to live in an off-campus house, you have to get that permission. And there's reasons. Blaker tells her that they have the corner club footage. Then very interesting, and I think this is very early on and very weird to me that you're interested in the router. You're interested in the Wi-Fi password, okay? And you're interested in, who had it, who had access to it. What do you mean, who had access to it? So if you're trying to get to the fact of should this person not be on the Wi-Fi, but she didn't even know. She was like, "What?" Like, listen, Kaylee ran all of that stuff. We don't let people get on our Wi-Fi because then it slows it all down, which is true. Whatever. Then asked about these parties and these noise complaints. How many did she think that there were? She says 3 or 4. Then she coughs up the fact that there was a fight at one of their parties and that there's video of it. And then she says that what makes it seem like that she video recorded this and that because she actually saw it, which then it gets all the way broken down to the fact that it was, no, 2 dudes from the same fraternity. She actually didn't record it. It was sent to her by somebody else. And this happened about a month ago. And yeah. Don't know why they're fighting. She says, I don't know, they'll just fight. I have no idea why they fight, but they just fight. Very bizarre. Usually you're going to know that. Come on. Why are these 2 dudes fighting? Just say it. I don't know. That kid always fucking calls that kid a faggot. Or that kid always fucking says shit to this kid, but they talk about, was it over a girl? Like, what do you mean they always fight? Just, how do you not know that? You would know why a fight broke out in your house. I mean, next, bedroom. Again, the spare bedroom. Went back to it again and talked about that spare bedroom and saying, hey, what was that room used for? More or less. Because we found mail in that room. Ashlyn Couch, who is she? We also found a computer in that room. We also found a computer behind the door, which was not a computer, but it was just a monitor. Okay? So we have a computer that's smaller and then a monitor behind the door. And she said the small computer was Maddie's, and Maddie would do work in there. Well, Maddie, I thought, worked at Mad Greek. What's that room being used for? Bottom line is that's what I'd want to know. There were Sensi lights in there. The Sensi lights were broken. According to the forensic scientists that when they wrote their notes, whose monitor was that? They didn't talk about it. Again, they go into these jobs. Maddie and Xana, which already Blaker knew that they worked at Mad Greek. How did you know that? Kaylee, she said, doesn't know the name, but Kaylee was basically interviewing people for jobs. That's what she did. She interviewed people. Very interesting. And I'm going to look into that a little bit more. So that's like recruitment. You're recruiting. And she is basically saying that Kaylee would work at the office because she would go to the facility. And now that's either got to be Coeur d'Alene or Moscow. And since we've done our homework here, we know that Kaylee was in Moscow for the summer. And she was taking a job. So I find it hard to believe that she would live in Moscow and move in June and commute an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes to CDA. Like, you would never do that. Like, said no one ever. So I'm curious of where this office and facility was. Was there an office that she was at in CDA, or was it Moscow? Next. 36 minutes into the conversation, and it's a 2-hour conversation. They bring up the whole Lakeland girl that came back and was watching the Vampire Diaries with Dylan. She tells her that name, gives that number up. Talks about people talking about Ethan and Xana with Adderall. I saw Ethan swallowing a pill before, and I saw Xana snorting it. Well, do they have a script? Nope. Neither of them have a script for it. Not, well, where did they get it from? Why would we ever ask something so, like, that would be a follow-up for me. And then Kaylee would pop an Adderall sometimes. Did you ever see her do that, or are you just saying that she just like, oh. How about no question to say, who would we want to talk to in order to find out what time Ethan and Xana came home? Who should we talk to get that information? Since what time did you go to bed? Okay, so if you're going to bed around 3, you didn't see them, right? He says, who should we talk to? As far as best friends, well, you talked to them. They were all at the station. Who should we talk to? That wasn't just like for Ethan and Xana. That was just like in general. Like, who should we talk to? Well, all the best friends were at the station, meaning like you've already talked to them. Then out of the blue, Bethany wants to cough up the fact that Kaylee had just been looking up registered sex offenders. Now we actually have a location of where this person was, and that was an older, late 20, 30, 40-year-old that was in right across the street from them, to the left just a tad in the blue building. Then she brings up, when was she looking up these sex offenders? Because Kaylee's into crime podcasts. Okay. These people cannot write and comprehend what's going on in an interview, because if you actually read the report, it's going to tell you that Dylan in they never say that, Kaylee was into crime podcasts. That's nowhere in any report. And I think it should be in a report, because it would go with eventually when you're thinking about things and what Brian was doing and wanting people to hit up on Reddit or whatever. Let's see here. Winco. First time we hear about that it was an African American. She was not with them on that trip. He was in his late 20s, and it was in October, probably late October. Kaylee had went in there to buy a case of White Claw. She normally goes there to buy the alcohol. You can only use like a debit card. She wasn't there, and she mentions that she knew that Kaylee used the self-checkout. Kaylee must be very, very detailed when she's giving stories, because if you weren't there and you knew that Kaylee is talking about the self-checkout, and how did Kaylee know that someone was following her? Anyways, then they get into Kaylee would have had, what type of banking do they all use? And is there an app, do you think, on her phone? And we're trying to get the camera footage. So if it was so long ago, we can probably get it still, stuff like that. Then going back to Showalter, she was told that he has anger issues and he has no association with the frat anymore. That's all she knows. She does not know anything about this person. She just only knows things through like the grapevine. Well, wouldn't you ask, who is telling you specific things about JS? That's where are you hearing anything about JS? Give me those names. Then they're talking about the access to the house, which is obviously the front door. People come through, and then yes, sometimes people come in through the back, me and the slider. Then Xana's dad was present during parents' weekend, and he fixed the door. Well, these guys had to sit there for a minute to understand that she kept saying, the hinges. When was this? Yeah, the door was just like swinging, and it was November 4th, because at 10:57 a.m., she's talking about Bethany's dad saw something that weekend. It was parents' weekend. And then she's kind of colliding that November 4th weekend into, but on the November 4th, on the Friday, Kaylee wasn't home because she went home for that weekend. So on that Friday, Xana left for work. And then I went and picked up Maddie from class. And then we went to get coffee to bring it to Xana. And I'm over here like, the girl doesn't have a car. What car did she use? They don't care. Not a single person has asked anybody about, the parking lot, even especially after you would have had the neighborhood canvassing and someone saying that there was less cars there than normal. You'd want to say, okay, these are the cars that were in the driveway. Boom, 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 boom. Is this where you guys normally park? If somebody was to come there, they would see these cars. What would be out of place, for someone to just come in your house? especially with the new Range Rover, which they didn't know yet. You know, when someone's asking questions like what's new, what's out of place, what just happened, I mean, we have to stop saying like these Dylan and Bethany aren't 10. The other people that are witnesses aren't 10. Okay, these are I'm sorry, but I think that I would be way more aware of my surroundings and what's going on to be able to talk to them about things that would be new. Kaylee getting a brand new Range Rover, I think would be important to say. Nowhere, and whoever's talking about a stalker, wherever this came from, none of these kids put the stalker information in the ears of anybody. The people that did that were the police. The police started the stalker shit. So let's just all understand that right now. None of these kids went to the police and said, Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, or Xana had a stalker. Nobody. The police did that. And it was because they viewed Kaylee's wounds to be significantly worse and different than everybody else. And that police force thought that Kaylee was the target. No doubt about it. You can see it in the questioning. They aren't even asking, trying to figure out about Ethan and Xana. And that's truly bizarre because either they know something that we don't know that they don't want to get out, okay? Or you're just so tunneled. Bad, in my opinion. Now, Xana's dad fixes the door, but Bethany's dad tells her, hey, she's like, my dad saw it and said something to me about it. That's how I know when this happened, which was Parents' Weekend, whatever. But also Friday, November 4th is the door incident where it was just left open and, you know, they came back, they all grabbed something in the golf club and then they started video recording to go walk through the house. Chapter meetings are on Mondays. There was something about a week prior incident, picked her up at 1 a.m. I mean, I don't know what these people are talking about. And they're not doing anything to figure out anything. So then we get to Bethany's timeline of that day and night. Bethany says that she woke up on Saturday around 10 or 11. She really didn't know, couldn't remember. Then she looked at the Find My Friends app to see. So she uses Find My Friends to basically see the locations of where, because your phone will tell you where you're at. She uses the word tracked. Very, very strange. They came home, got ready, up in Kaylee's room. The 4 girls were up there. It's a game day. They went to a party at the Whites. It was the further one down. They got ready from about 11 to 12. Then 2-ish, they went to the Whites. Kaylee went before us. Maddie, Dylan, Xana, Ethan. Then she was listing all these other people. All went. They were drinking at least by noon. She was having mimosas, high noons. She had a 12-pack, but it was spread apart. Mimosas, you know, it wasn't like a mega pint or anything like that. It was like 2, maybe 3 wine glasses, you know, the little wine glasses. We were playing Rage Cage, you know, which is blah, blah, blah. I cannot believe that Blaker has no idea. He thought that high noons, I don't even know. Whoa. Ethan left way before us from the Whites, allegedly, but at 3:48 is when that picture was taken. Ethan is in it. So obviously Ethan had to have left the party after 3:48. He went to a formal at 6 p.m. or like that's when he needed to be, wherever he needed to be. Xana and Bethany, they left together from the Whites, and she said that it was foggy out when she left, but it wasn't that it was dark yet. Now, I have the new body cam of when Rosinski takes over for Warner. I'm going to put that out there, and what we're going to be able to watch is over the course of time of day on the different lighting that occurs, which I think is important. So she's talking about that it was foggy out. She mentions foggy a couple different times. So, but Xana and Bethany leave together. Maddie, Kaylee, Dylan, they stayed. And then Xana Bethany, they went, I believe it's the tree house, wherever they went. Then they texted Maddie, did you go home? And this was at 4:51. And then that's when she found out that Maddie and they were back at the house. So then Bethany and Xana go back to the house. At 5 p.m., they made food. They were on the couch and they were talking. Kaylee then goes to her room. All of them took a nap and set their alarms for 8 p.m. Everyone went to their own rooms. Maybe Kaylee and Maddie, they were in the same room because they always did that. They've been best friends since they've been little. They're like sisters. Again, reiterating, because this is when Blaker explains to Bethany that, hey, this is going to be prosecuted one day, and we got to get down all the drinking because any good defense attorney is going to go after the fact that you guys were all drunk and intoxicated. So we need to know how much you had to drink. I had 12 high noons, a case, okay, 12 mimosas, and then a rage Borg. But I just had like, I don't know, like a couple, I don't even know. That's what she keeps saying. I don't know. She then went to Sigma Chi around 9 or 9:30. Ethan was with a freshman, okay? And if you're trying to figure out what everything to do with Ethan, who was the freshman that he was with? Do you maybe want to get a name? Nope. Maddie and I went first to the house, to the Sigma Chi party, to put our drinks in a friend's room because they have all these separate apartments and there's the big like area where they have the parties, like the lodge, whatever. Ethan's brother's apartment is where Ethan and Xana were, Hunter's apartment. Maddie said she was leaving, and that was sometime after 9:09. Doesn't ask why, how, and that it was after 9:09. There must be a picture. Dylan came later because she had homework, and I can just tell you when she turned in her assignment was 10:20, based off of her interview. The name Yessie arrives now in the. She was with Yessie here, and that whenever Bethany went with Yessie after she left the Sigma Chi house. So she was saying something like 10 something. She thought that Yessie arrived at Sigma Chi, and then they went to the main party together. Basically, Maddie's leaving her. Yessie's coming to join Bethany, and Bethany and Yessie are going to be in the Sigma Chi party area. Dylan, she doesn't really mention. Then, what else do we got here? Oh. Okay. Then Xana and Ethan, they are back from the room right before I leave at 12:17 in an apartment in Sigma Chi. So 12:17 is a timestamp that she throws out from a picture, and that's Ethan and Xana being back in some room in one of the apartments in Sigma Chi. Then she left to go to the Whites, and she thought that it was, after obviously 12:17, and that she thought, though, that she was back at her apartment, her house, at 1 o'clock. So she would have been going to the Whites, being there, leaving there, and doing all of that between 12:17 and 1. When she arrives back at her house, Dylan is home watching Vampire Diaries with Lakin, that girl, McComas or whatever. Then she's able to get a picture from the McComas girl, or maybe it's from Bethany's phone, on Snapchat at 1:21 a.m. There is a picture, and that's how she knows that she was there then. Then this girl leaves, and then Dylan went to her room. Then 2 o'clock is when Kaylee and Maddie came home. And at 2:02, there's another picture on her phone from Snapchat because she took a picture of all of them on Kaylee's bed. 2:02 a.m. Then she wants to talk nothing about anything from basically like they have to like get her to right here after the 202. She said they were hanging up upstairs. She's asked, well, how long were you up there? I have no idea. I have no clue. Don't even know. Can't even just ballpark it. Refuses to say anything. How long were you hanging up upstairs? Then they try to like do little techniques to try to get it out of her. Like here, you say that you took the dog out with Maddie. He stops her and says, no, let's back up. We want to. Kaylee changed completely up there. Maddie was in the same clothes when you took the dog out. Okay. So, but Kaylee changed completely. Okay. No talks about, hey, we wanted to order food and we texted Eric Grower. Okay. And even when you mentioned his name in the beginning to say, oh, how about this guy? Oh, yeah, we actually thought about ordering food. So we texted him at whatever time. But then we didn't end up getting food. You know, when you say something to somebody, it will trigger. Like when you hear the name Eric Grower or you hear the name the Uber driver, tell me about him. Oh, okay. Like that should have triggered. Oh yeah, we texted him. If you would have known about it, if you would have known that that Dylan is texting because you guys want to all get food. What were you guys talking about when you went upstairs? You guys talking about your night? Did they say that they were being followed by anybody? You say that this guy was being creepy or whatever. Did Kaylee or Maddie say anything about the guy that was in the hoodie? I cannot believe that you would not ask that question. That question's never been asked. If Maddie or Kaylee mentioned anybody at the grub truck that was following them, how in the world does that question not get asked? Hey, it looks like they were hanging out with this person, and then did they talk about how they ditched somebody? They just ask, oh, what were their spirits when they got home? What? What were their spirits? They just came back from the grub truck. Where did they eat their food at? Was it already gone? Anyways, she just wants to skip right along though. She goes, hey, we took the dog out. I took the dog out with Maddie. I was only out there for 10 seconds. She can't remember anything. She can't remember anything. And then we get this. I was only out there for like 10 seconds to take the dog out. Everybody should immediately have their your senses, your spidey senses should go off right there. She can't remember anything, but she knows that she was only outside for 10 seconds. How would you even remember that then? If you did something for 10 seconds? How would you remember that? Then she says, I was only out there for 10 seconds. Then I came back in and I grabbed something from the cabinet and a bag of chips. And then I went down to my room and went to bed. Oh, and I watched Baby Daddy. And then he's like, okay, how did you watch it? And she's like, oh, I have an iPad. Okay. Is it on like Prime, Hulu? What is it? Yeah, it's a Hulu account. It's my parents pay for it. When I went to bed, I shut off, and then she was like, I shut off my computer. And then he's like, okay, well, we got to be technical here. Yeah, no, it's my iPad. Well, I know that they found an iPad in the spare bedroom. And so I want to talk about where that iPad was. Where was Bethany's iPad located when it was found? Because they found an iPad in the spare bedroom. An iPad in the spare bedroom. Then she says, Maddie lost Murphy. And so she came down to my room and asked me if I had Murphy. Nothing was asked. Nothing was asked when she says that Maddie lost Murphy. Okay. 3 detectives are in this room and they say, wait, what do you mean she lost Murphy? Like nothing. It was like, do not ask anything. Anything. about this. Maddie lost Murphy. You know that Jack Decor has already told you that Maddie called him and he never calls him. Oh wait, she lost Murphy. What time was that at? 2:53. Then he would see, oh my god, at 2:53. Look at that. Guess when she calls Jack Decor? She calls Jack Decor and Bethany were called back to back by Maddie. Isn't that interesting? I think it's rather interesting. She also can't remember the episode that she watched of Baby Daddy, but she remembers that she shut off her computer. Now, then she says, again, Maddie came to my room to ask me about Murphy, and then she's like, and then she just wants to jump right to, okay, so I heard like a firecracker or a flash, and I woke up. Then she can't remember who called who. Then finally the detectives say, well, look at your phone. It'll be on there. She's like, yeah, it says 419. But I don't know who. She's like, I don't remember who called who first. So she's like 419 and then 420. I can't remember if I called Dylan or Dylan called me. I don't remember. And she was trying to hurry up and move from that. And then they said, oh, no, here, you can look at it and it'll tell you if it's an outgoing call or an incoming call. And then that's what really, really like sparked the attention, I think, of one of the Nevada people. Because he was like, wait, so you called her first. So you weren't alerted to the masked man, right? You weren't alerted to Dylan talking about everyone screaming and saying, hey, someone's here and all of that. And nor anywhere did she ever, the words never came out of Bethany's mouth to these investigators that Dylan said, there's someone here to help, nothing, and there's somebody here by Kaylee. So they really hone in there on the 419, 420, and then Blaker's trying to kind of derail the whole, hey, did she say that she saw somebody? She must have said that to you on the phone, right? Because you're writing down a text message at 422 about a black mask. And she's like, well, I think we should look into this. She says, I think when she's texting me, she had just seen him. What? Why do you think that? What are you talking about? Yeah, that he had just passed her and then she starts texting me. Like, oh, okay. Why do you think that? Then she says, can't even believe it. When she texted, he was leaving. Then she says, she told me that he had a big nose. What? Well, then he's not wearing a balaclava. I'll tell you that right now. Again, any type of important question. Did you go exploring at all? Meaning, did you go walk around, afterwards when she comes down to your room? Like how you guys went exploring when the door was wide open? No. Was Murphy barking? Was that before or after you heard like the firecracker, sparkler, whatever? The triangle thing. She's like, I don't know. I don't remember. It was all kind of like all at the same time. Murphy barking, yeah, all at once with like the table and like the, firecracker, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I don't know what time Ethan and Xana got home. I don't know. Okay. Then here we finally get Maddie called me at 2:53. Maddie called me at 2:53. She says, I missed it. And I swear I'm gonna look back through my stuff, but I'm telling you, I have it in this. I have it down as that was a 2-minute in some like second phone call. But according to Bethany, at 2:53, she missed Maddie's call. And I would just want to see that if I was these dudes. So I just want to see, was it a missed call or was it answered? Because according to the Celebrate, I swear I'm going to go back and check, but I have that as being an answered call. And this is when they talk about, oh, well, maybe Maddie's calling you because of the whole, like, Murphy's missing type of thing. So then why don't we spend some time on that? So how about this? Well, did you go and help them look for Murphy? Would you not? I mean, she comes down to your room. She's asking you if you have the dog. Were you at all concerned with, like, was that before? How about, why don't you ask her, was that before or after the phone call? Because I can tell you this right now. If I come down to your room, right, I'm going to call you before I come down to your room. But I'm going to save myself that trip. I'm not going to come to your room, ask you if you have Murphy, okay, and then leave and then say, I got to call you for some reason. I'm going to call you, right? And if it would be like, if you didn't answer it, then, you know, and again, this is if this is even true and if Murphy was missing. But Murphy being missing would be very, very, very important in this timeline. And all they're talking about is timeline, and they don't want to narrow down, like, Murphy missing. Like, did you hear the dog barking at that point? Like, I could see maybe if Maddie was calling to say, hey, just want to let you know we found Murphy. That could be a reason that she would also call maybe after she visited her. How would it not ever come up to the police to say, oh my God, I missed a call from her at 2:53. Oh my God, what if she was calling me for help? Oh my God. How does that not enter your mind? It would, unless you have knowledge of something else. If I was to look at my phone, I'd be like, oh my God, Maddie called me at 2:53. What the fuck? I missed this phone call? Oh my God. It's not even a... Just... If I missed that phone call, when I would have woke up to hearing flashbang, pop, blah, 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 what's the first thing we always do? We look at our phones, right? I would have seen, if I look at my phone, oh my God, I have a missed phone call. Oh my God, it's Maddie. You know? What the hell? And then that's going to be my first phone call, right? Oh my God. Call. No. What happens here is that she picks up her phone and the first person that she calls is Dylan. Meanwhile, you would have been looking at your phone when you picked it up to go call Dylan. You would have saw that you missed a phone call from Maddie. So wouldn't you, if you just heard whatever, wouldn't you, oh, I missed her phone call. Let me call her. Nope. Bypass that. That is not something normal. If I was just woke up and I looked at my phone and I would see that I had a missed call and I saw that it was from Maddie and I just heard whatever I thought I heard, I'm pressing send to call that person. I'm clicking on it and I'm sending it. They all had iPhones. I know what it would look like. It would pop right up and you would see it. And then you could potentially be even confused about the time. And you could be thinking that just happened, you know, that she just called you. And so you would. Dylan wouldn't be your first phone call. Not possible. Not possible with, like, logic. If you're looking at your phone and you see that you have a missed phone call from from Maddie. Not fucking logical. Sorry. So then this is what she said she did. These are her phone calls. 4:19, Dylan. Then 4:20, that was for 23 seconds. And she's like, I don't remember anything that we talked about. I think I say to her, did you just hear that? And she said, I think she said yes. 23 seconds, you know how long that is? 23 seconds. She says, I do not know. I do not remember what was said. Then there was another one for 41 seconds. Yeah, I have no idea what was said. I don't remember. Okay. Then 4:21 was Xana. Then 4:22 is Maddie. Then 4:22 is Ethan. She doesn't try to call Kaylee at all. at all until she FaceTimes Kaylee at 4:30. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I FaceTime her at 4:30. And then I regularly called her then at 4:31, which would have been like, that's that big gap from 4:22 and the 4:29. She's like, oh yeah. And then I called Maddie again, I think at 4:29, or Xana again at 4:29, 4:30. I called them again, one of them. And then she says, yeah, at 4:25, I think is when meaning Bethany or Dylan ran down. She said that she heard no screams, nothing like that, no screams. She thought she heard cups falling. And then Blaker's all, hey, well, what's the direction of this beer pong table? Is it supposed to be like right, She's like, it's more a little bit just off towards the wall a little bit, but it's straight. And he's like, okay, well, that makes sense because it wasn't straight on. It was kind of like at a tilt a little bit, like somebody running into it. Now I will give Blaker one very good point, and that is if there's cans up on the railing that would be sitting there on the half wall, and one of them or multiple of the cans fall off from the railing and go down, I would love to know what that would sound like. Okay, if you take, so here I'm gonna do it with you guys. I'm gonna do a sample of it. I have, I can drop some stuff from a loft and it will actually hit onto, I think, flooring it's not carpet. So I want to hear what it sounds like. Because potentially then that's somebody running into and then causing, could that be like the whole like noise that she heard, but again, does that make up for the flash? Absolutely not. And then they're trying to ask her if was there ever candles up there? What? Yeah, candles are right on your railing. And then even if a candle did drop, how is that a flash? Also, then you have to ask where her bed is to see what she's talking about. You saw it. Was it outside? I mean, there's just no, and she wanted no part of answering to be specific with any of this shit. I don't know. And you could see where she's really moving quickly along stuff that she does not want to talk about. And when I mean not want to talk about, she does not want to talk about specifics she wants to talk, she'll ask you or she'll answer a specific question about something that has nothing to do with shit, but during that time frame of 2 to 4, no. The norms of Dylan and Bethany on how they would have handled the situation based on their interviews of saying what they've done in the past is nothing of what they did that night. Out of the blue, totally caught me for a loop. She's like, listen, it was a week before the incident. I call my friend at 1:00 in the morning because I heard somebody scream. I call my roommates, nobody answers. I call a friend of mine, they come and they pick me up at 1 a.m. and I leave the house. She tells the police in this interview that that's what she did 1 week prior to this incident. Well, that would be Parents' Weekend. Parents' Weekend. What? Like, do these people realize what people are saying? What do you mean you did this a week before the incident? What do you mean you thought you heard somebody screaming? And then they ask her, well, was it like a girl scream, a guy scream? Who was screaming? I don't know. You don't know if you heard a guy scream or a girl scream? What? It couldn't have been that traumatic then. Was it somebody that was like bizarre, but you called somebody and they came and they picked you up? Because I called my roommates, nobody answered. And so I called my friend, they came and picked me up and it was about like 1 a.m. and then I left. Okay. Bizarre. Then Blaker wanted to know about the stain on the stairs. What was the stain on the stairs? According to Bethany, it was like Pepsi or Coke that had spilled and it stained. Then she mentions that there should be a box with like Trulies or a bag at the end and down by, her level. They don't even ask her if she used the bathroom that morning. She'd been drinking all fucking day. Did you have to get up and use the bathroom? How come your bathroom has literally, you can't wipe your cooch. You have no toilet paper. So you didn't pee? Blaker. The Nevada guys, you should have shared some crime scene photos with them so they can look at the stuff and see like what. Wow, okay. Blaker, nothing. No asking about bathrooms. Just to say once, like, did you ever use the bathroom that was by her bedroom? Did you ever use it? Fuck. Now they ask, were the lights on? She's like, yes. The hallway light where I go to sleep down there. Yep, that was on. She's like, well, when I went to bed, yep. She's like, everything mostly was on when I went to bed. That's how she says it. Yes, when Bethany went to bed, lights are on. When she came back from the Whites to home that night, they asked, hey, did you see any cars out? Did you see anybody? She said that somebody did pass her driving. She said, but that's normal. So according to Bethany, cars go back there, and it was like 1:00 in the morning, and it was only like a 2 to 3 minute walk. She used the cutoff stairs to come right up from Taylor. She remembers it being cold, but really wants to talk about it was foggy. She really wants to talk about how foggy it was. Let me tell you when you want to talk about how foggy something is. Okay. Or were you staring outside all day? Were you watching a football game? What do you mean foggy? Like, when did the fog, like, how does it impeding you in any way type like that it's. And that tells me when I would ever talk about something being so foggy, that means I'm driving. God, it was so fucking foggy, dude. I was trying to drive and I couldn't even see in front of me. Like, how does she have such vivid memories of that it was so foggy that day, that night? She really wanted to talk about this fog. Well, one time I talk about fog is when I'm driving. Then she says, all right, let's talk about that morning. Oh, okay. So after when they're like, what did Dylan say? How did it happen? Like when you get down to your bedroom, I fell back asleep. I don't know what she did. Like we really didn't, I don't remember what we talked about. We didn't really, like, they did not try to get anything out of her about what Dylan and Bethany talked about. Nothing. There was no attempt to try. She's saying that the next morning she woke up early, okay, because it was like at 7:30. She had an inflamed tooth. She calls her dad. He's a dentist. Then she falls back asleep because he didn't answer. Then she wakes back up, calls him at 8. He didn't answer. Then she calls the house line at 8:01 a.m. Nobody answered. Then she calls her mom's cell phone at 8:02 a.m. Blaker said at first, okay, like, why were you calling him? Oh, I had an inflamed tooth and he's a dentist. Okay, so then I call my mom at 8:02. And this is something I think is interesting. At 8:02, her mom answers. Blaker says, was Dylan in the room? Yeah, she was in the room. I don't remember if she was up or not. Okay. Dylan's in the room. Can't remember if she's up or not. Her mom says, I'll have your dad call you back. Like, why wouldn't he hand him the phone? 8:02. Your mom answers the cell phone. Okay. No conversations had with the dad and Bethany. I'll have your dad call you back. And so then he calls her on his cell phone at 8:09. Then he called back and she's like, and then I took Advil for my tooth. And Dylan told her, she told Dylan about her tooth. So then she's saying here at 8, she couldn't remember. She knew that Dylan was in the room. She couldn't remember if she was up or not. But by 8:09, that conversation, she was telling Dylan about her tooth. She could remember that. Then, she's like, yeah, then I went back to sleep. You know, it wouldn't be like anybody would be up anyways. It's too early, blah, blah, blah. Like, already giving a reason as to why there was no panic at 8:09, or when she woke up to even think like, she says that, then I went back to sleep. I don't know what Dylan was doing. Went back to sleep, and then I woke up about like 11:30. 11:30. I woke up, and then I called her friend Jenna. Then they back her up a little bit because she's like, yeah, we thought it was weird because nobody was up yet, you know. If you thought it was weird, then why didn't you call anybody? They don't ask for that. They don't ask, did you call? Did you call them? Bethany doesn't call anybody. But more importantly, right here, she says, no, I didn't call. She's like, they said, how do you know that nobody was up? That's how they worded it. How do you know that nobody was up? And she says, no Snapchat locations was on for Xana. When I heard that, I said, are you fucking kidding me? No Snapchat location was on for Xana. So she goes to, again, look at the Snapchat map, but these guys should be asking what that means. And what that means is if you're sharing your locations on Snapchat with your friends, literally the phone will tell you where your little avatar is, and it puts you on a map, and it like pinpoints you like it's GPS. It's fucking a stalking device, man. She says no Snapchat location was on for Xana. And so that's why she's saying that that nobody was up. How does that equate to not being up? You can be. What I would be more concerned with is wait, what do you mean her Snapchat location wasn't on? Does that mean her phone's dead? Is the phone dead? Does Xana normally have her Snapchat locations on? Like, why would it not be on? She could still be asleep. Her phone, her Snap location is just going to show where the heck her last known location for the last, until she moves. It could say like 10 hours in this location. So if you move then, and let's say I go outside, get in the car, and I drive, and I go to Applebee's, it's going to locate me there, and it will say how long I've been there. And if you look at my Snapchat, let's say in 30 minutes, it's going to say that I've been there for like 28 minutes. So if you understand Snapchat, what the concern should be here is that, what do you mean there was no Snapchat location for Xana? That's telling me that there's an issue, like that Xana's not sharing locations. And that brings me to my final point, which will be a boom. If you are doing something that you are not supposed to be doing, if you are going places you are not supposed to be going, you will turn off your phone in terms of putting it on airplane mode, putting it in, you could just turn your phone off. Biggest thing that people will do is to flip their phone in airplane mode. And it's going to, you're not going to be able, I can flick on, I think she had an iPhone as well. You can do things to disable your locations. Glenn doing a Brett pain right now, right? Yep, given those reasons why. But here, it should be of concern that, okay, great, Xana's location, Xana's one person. Xana's one person. What about Maddie's? What about, you said that you were able to track these people yesterday when you were explaining your day from Saturday, and you said that you used the app, what was it, Find My Friends. Did you use that on that day to see where your friends were? Like, and guess what? Blaker does not push back at all. There's no push. There's no like trying to even understand what she's saying and what she means. I could mess up in the way that I'm saying something, and you would need clarification so that you understood exactly what I'm saying, what I mean, because I could be describing it wrong. Or my version of how I'm describing it is different. I mean, blows my mind. And then in conclusion, she then gets around trying to say that, yeah, well, when the cops showed up, I had moved And so I was standing over by where the whites and where the stairs are. That's a bunch of shit. She was already in the vehicle, pulling out, leaving. And then they swoop back around. And it's on cam. Fight me on that. He asked, what do you think happened? He's asking her what she thinks, what she's heard. And the only thing that she says, no mention about drugs, no mention about, even though Blaker's over here telling her that's what we're hearing about drugs with Ethan and Xana. And I'm over here like, where are these interviews, man? Okay. She's like, on not yesterday, but the day before, so it would have been Monday, she says. She's like, the theory out there is that the Jack Showalter guy, the grub truck guy, he lives by himself in the Browns, and that he did it. And they're like, what? Like, why? Do you think, like, where? Okay, did he have a beef with any of these people? I have no idea. I have no idea who he is. You think a guy that has never come to your house, none of your roommates have ever mentioned before, comes in and brutally stabs them to death? Why? She says, I don't know. It's what people were saying. And that people think that. And then they had one last thing. Oh, about going back into the house, about Hunter and this knife. Oh, they actually want her to talk about the knife that Hunter went and grabbed, because they want her to describe the knife. Because if she never went back into the house, she should have no idea what knife Hunter grabbed. None. Absolutely none. She's describing the knives that she bought from IKEA. They, to me, aren't. That's not what that knife is. Okay. I mean, just mind blowing about this knife. Literally asking her details about who bought the knife, who bought all the silverware in the house, where do they keep their silverware? Are you sure that Hunter didn't bring it in by himself, like his, outside, like that he brought his own knife there? And I would be saying this: I have no idea. I didn't go upstairs. I didn't go back in. I shouldn't say that I didn't go upstairs, because when he came over, I was behind him. That's what she says. And then when he's upstairs turning the corner to go back to the hallway, I'm coming up. And so then I see Xana. That's what she says. I see Xana laying on the floor. And then the one Nevada cop, awesome job. He's like, how did you know it was Xana? Is the door open, partially open? And she's like, it's like, yeah, like halfway, like I would say it's a little bit, maybe halfway, maybe a little less than halfway, something around there. And I know that it's Xana because I see her legs. And then he's like, well, what was she wearing? And Bethany's like, she had like a black shirt on and underwear. And she didn't have a black shirt on though. She had gray with underwear. Yes. But blood would drench it. If it gets dried up, it could look, darker. I don't know. But yeah. Then, oh my God. Then they're talking about that night again. And she's like, yeah. And then I think I heard Kaylee and Murphy dancing out of the blue. And it's like, what? No, that's what Dylan said. How did you hear Kaylee and Murphy dancing? What? Cannot believe that this was said. How did she hear Kaylee and Murphy dancing? She heard music playing. So they're basically saying that while this happened, that Bethany is now on board and saying that there was music playing. So then let's go back to when everybody in the area is talking about music being played at that house. Molly, did you hear music being played at 4 a.m.? Music was being played, and Kaylee was dancing with Murphy. That's what Bethany just said in this interview. She's never said that before. But you don't hear screaming. None. No crying, no nothing like that. Bizarre. All right. With that said, I'll be back tomorrow with Dylan's interview. We're going back to back here. Dylan talks for over 2 hours. It's like 2 hours and 11 minutes and literally does not stop speaking. Like it's a and we are convinced that she's on Adderall. She's on something. She is talking so fast. So fast. So fast. And I think she says, I'm gonna do a drinking game. I might not make it through the first 10 minutes though. But it's Vicky Gooch, Dustin Blaker. So Blaker then gets on a plane and then flies back to Boise, gets off the plane in Boise, and then meets Victoria Gooch, and they walk over, and now Dylan's going to sit down and do an interview. But here in this interview with Bethany, he's asking Bethany, why is Dylan being so hesitant? Why won't she talk to me? Why won't she talk to me? And Bethany's like, I don't know. I think it was just that she got a lawyer and her mom, and they were like freaking her out and stuff like that. So somehow within the time of talking to Bethany here, and him and Blaker telling Bethany that, then all of a sudden, okay, Dylan says, okay, yeah, you can come and interview me. But was not up for it. And according to Blaker, was being, weird, refusing, wouldn't talk to him. Bethany says, I think it's because she has a lawyer and her mom, and whatever they've said to her, it's like made her extra scared or something. Again, that's Bethany's words. Probably her mom and her lawyer are smart and saying, whoa, hang tight. Hang tight. We can see where this is going. And it was like about the press. It was a bunch of things, but Bethany and her opinions, Bethany knows nothing. I cannot tell you how many times she says, I don't know. And I don't remember. I think the big one was, I don't remember. I don't remember. That's how she got out of answering every single thing. In order to get Bethany to talk, you would have to literally, she's the type that you're going to have to take a report and say, here you go. Do you know that your phone tracks you when you would be taking movements with your phone? And so it's saying you're taking all of these steps, but you told me that you were sleeping this whole time. So let's talk about this. Listen, we do not care about your drugs. We do not care about the drinking. None of it. And that's something that I love about Victoria Gooch when you get to hear this interview. Victoria Gooch sets that tone and she says, hey, I need to make sure we're clear about this. The underage drinking, the drugs, all of it, we don't care about any of it. So anybody out there that's going to tell you that, because Steve, when he was saying that, hey, these detectives need to tell these kids that they're not going to get in trouble for any of this stuff. Steve, you were whoever was telling you certain information, Victoria Gooch says it on a recorded line right out the gate in the interview with Dylan. She's like, we want to find the person or people that did this to your friends and that have forever changed your life moving forward. That's all we're interested in here. Okay, I would have said, we need to know about the drugs and the drinking more so the drugs, if it could be a potential reason that this happened. But you're not going to get in trouble for it. I don't care if, you know, if you want to give her blanket immunity here. Like, anyways. So it definitely was said. And I think Victoria Gooch is just like these Nevada guys. You guys aren't buying this shit, right? Like, where's their phone records? We need the Cellbrite reports. We need to see their movements with the phones. I don't believe that they did not go exploring when they were exploring just a week prior to. You know. So, and I get the sense that Blaker was in protect mode of the school. I wonder, since Victoria Gooch is retired, if she would ever do an interview about this case. I think Victoria Gooch would be an awesome interview about this case. When you can actually say, here's what this person was telling you in an interview. What was your take from it? And then you hand her, well, here's her data on her phone. Here's actually this. Okay, when she says that she just woke up out of the blue. Here you find out that she was saving a number in her phone at 3:51. As a detective, what does that tell you? Would you have a problem with that? Well, yeah, I would say that there's something wrong there. Yeah. So I think the Dylan interview, I think it's going to mind fuck a lot of people. I do. I know Bella has some opinions about it, and I was shocked at her opinions about it in a good way for me, because I always hear the opposite end, which is that I need to be, easier on them, and I'm like, I'm talking about patterns of behavior. Like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. It's when you deviate from that, when somebody should be like, what the hell's up? Especially in a situation like this, why wouldn't you do what you did the other day, which was grab your phone out and go exploring? Or you called somebody to come pick you up at 1 a.m. Why didn't you do that here? Or maybe you drove yourself up out of there, Or maybe you have this guilt because you didn't do anything and you guys got the hell out of there and everybody else didn't, and they got trapped and they died. So it could be like survivor's guilt. At the end of the day, you can only get to the truth when people are truthful. These girls had no reason to lie with what I see and how they were very gently being asked questions. And if their roommates were murdered, you would think that I'm just going to tell everything and anything, I wouldn't be thinking about anything else. And if everything that they're saying is true, right, that they didn't do drugs and they didn't do that stuff and nobody did that stuff and the sorority and fraternity life is so great and nothing to see here, nothing bad happens in Moscow, then you have no reason to not tell anything, all of it. All right, guys, see you in the next one.